This exhibition is historic in a number of ways. The last major Kusama exhibition in the United States, Yayoi Kusama, 1958 to 68, was a seminal survey of 10 years of Kusama's work, and it focused exclusively on her production here in the United States. And it makes sense, because as Kusama said, America is really the country that raised me, and I owe what I have become to her. By contrast, this exhibition, her first retrospective, presents the full breadth of the artist's output, her more than 60-year career, and it includes her early work in Japan as well as her late work in Japan, and it puts the American work, which happens in the middle, in context. And to view Kusama's work in totality is important. To see the intimate watercolors, which are in the galleries over there from the early 1950s, is a real revelation for those of us who've never seen that early work. They indicate not only where she has come from, but I think even more importantly, where she would go in her work. The early net paintings, which are in that great room with the great Breuer window there, the light, David Kiehl, our curator, did a great job installing it. They just come alive, they sing off the walls, those beautiful, delicate net paintings. And not only are they tender, but I think they're also a nod to minimalism, but yet they maintain a connection to nature and to the handmade quality. And one shouldn't forget that, in fact, she lived right downstairs from Donald Judd for a period of time here in New York. And more recently, her transcendent environments, like the fireflies on the water, which I hope some of you will have seen or will see, which is in our lobby gallery downstairs, are just extraordinary transcendental environment. And then when you see the very last gallery with bright paintings there, you realize the range of what she has produced is truly extraordinary. And then, of course, behind you, you have these great accumulation sculptures. And it will be quite the surprise if you sit on these pieces, because they still seem to be writhing and alive as if they're coming out of the sea. So I think that this show is going to be a great surprise to our New York audiences. And the retrospective is also historic because it brings her back to the city where, as she said, Kusama has become Kusama. New York was an essential place for her. Some of the most important developments in her life and work happened here. So it is particularly moving for all of us here in New York to see her back here.
The Kusamas that I knew best were the early drawings from the 50s. I've always have loved them for a good 20 years. I thought they were magnificent. I was lucky when I came to this institution from the Met that we own the big airmail sticker painting, which is an extraordinary example of art from New York in the 1960s. Then we got the Firefly Room, which I must say was great fun to install. And then the last major work we have acquired here was the accumulation chair, which is on the platform. Absolutely extraordinary. So I took the show on, but I got to see it in Madrid and in London. But I must say, when I got off the plane in Madrid and went into Reina Sofia, I started looking, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it fit here? I saw the painting, the first painting I really focused on was Lingering Dream, and I said, aha. When I install this at the Whitney, when you get off that elevator and you turn into the show, Lingering Dream has to be the first thing you see. And so I knew that was up here. Then I went into where the net paintings were, and I flipped out. I hadn't seen the net paintings, the white net paintings. They're extraordinary. And the only thought I had was, however possible, those paintings need to be across from the big window. No, just let that natural light go across them. I guess if you want to say anything, you design a show for yourself. Am I happy being in these rooms by myself? And I must say, I am. Ultimately, to make me happy with how being in the rooms, but ultimately to present Miss Kusama again to New York, to America, to a younger group of people who may not really know her work, but I think she's going to be a big influence.